Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. I hope you guys are just having a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. At least here in the U.S., we're doing Thanksgiving. For those of you overseas and abroad, you're probably wondering what on earth these crazy Americans are doing. And, well, we're just kind of crazy. We'll leave it at that. So yeah, it's a holiday weekend here. Today was Black Friday for those of you who go shopping the day after Thanksgiving. I didn't. I was quite happy to stay in bed and sleep in a little bit, and then just kind of hung out at home. Didn't do anything. We watched some TV. Mini Me and I did. We decorated a gingerbread house, just stuff like that. So, anyways, we're going to talk about what not to do if you don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving, or what to do to celebrate Thanksgiving. Anyways, I'll get to it, I promise. So, yes, I'm Paisley Wild, and this is The Spaces Between. Thanks for joining. I'm being broadcast live tonight, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And no matter how you are listening, stop in one of the chat rooms and say hello. Or you can always send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com, and that's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. If you want to see what's going on in my world, or have show ideas, or want to join the forum, or any of that stuff, check out the website. It's www.paisleywild.com. And I have a storefront there. I will be putting some stuff up this next week, in theory. We'll see how the week goes. I've got some crafts that I've gotten done, and I've got just about accomplished and finished up. If you're wanting to shop for the Yule season, I got a lot of different things. Spell jars, apparel, so I've got some gear. I actually need some spaces between gear. Yeah, that would be good. And then I got just some other stuff. And let's see what else. Yeah. No, my book. I have a book out. That's The Wild Pagan A to Z. I do have another one in the process of. I am so far behind on getting that one done. Yes. It's written. It's about half illustrated. Just life. 2021's been weird. Yeah. Just weird. Yes, I'm ready for it to be done, actually, and move on and see if 2022 has a new adventure, because that would be fantastic, right? Something new instead of the same old, same old. Yes. And then, let's see, while you're doing your research and journaling things and checking out stuff online, check out iLife.com. iLife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. iLife combines the best non-psychoactive properties of the ayahuasca with the high-quality CBD to help support you, all of you, all the bits of you. Because you know what? We kind of need that support. Let's see, what else is new? Call lines are open, so if you wanted to give a call in, you absolutely can do so. That number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, that number is 44203-393-2871. So, yeah, let's see here. I have a little red dot. What does my little red dot say? Hey, it's a little smiley face. Hello, smiley face. Let's see. So yeah, just crazy stuff. So October disappeared in a fog of COVID. November's disappeared in just a fog of trying to recover from COVID, actually. Hey, Julia. Yay, wrapping gifts. I have some of that to do. I'm not very... My time management, I gotta tell you, has been horrible of late. Now, I don't know if there's a time dilation issue or if it's an ADHD issue, or a combination thereof, because it could be both. Yeah, it really, really could be both. Sadly, yeah. But then, what do? You just roll with it, right? Yeah, you just roll with it. Let's see, what do we got? So, in watching the interwebs and the social media platforms and some of the groups and such that I'm associated with online and follow, there's a lot of people who just don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving, this is the holiday weekend for Thanksgiving here in the U.S., and I get it. We're essentially celebrating Columbus discovering North America. Well, Christopher Columbus apparently couldn't read a map because he thought he was somewhere else entirely. But then think about it, maps weren't necessarily very good. It's not like he could just pull up Google Maps and figure out where, North America was. And I get that. But there were already people here, so it's not like it was an undiscovered place. It was just discovered by other people. There were indigenous tribes. We call them the First Nations here, the first people, Native Americans. Yes, there's labels. We use a lot of labels anymore, it seems like. The more we fight the labels, it seems the more we have them. The Vikings were here already. There's interesting archaeological evidence that isn't loudly spoken about that really indicates that there may have been trade from other nations pre-Columbus, like way pre. Maybe some Chinese, some Japanese, we'll call it Asian. Some Asian groups may have come over here, which wouldn't surprise me. Some other Mediterranean type groups. Romans were known for going pretty much anywhere they wanted. They were a fearless bunch of people. And, so to say that Columbus, whoo, I found it. I'm putting my flag here. That means I own it. If you guys ever listen to Eddie Izzard, you'll get the reference. Anyways, the coming of the Europeans to North America didn't, I should say, have the best beginning, or and the integration with the white people and the indigenous people was not good. It was not smooth. Actually, it was pretty horrendous. Absolutely 100% horrendous. So as a result, there's a large number of people who choose not to celebrate Thanksgiving, and I get it. But we're also given this time off because supposedly that's what we're celebrating, right? Because it is an important day, and it really is. Supposedly it was a time of giving thanks for, surviving, landing, and not dying on the ships on the way over. That's a big deal. And later, through the years, it became a celebration of survival, of triumph, of many other things, not just the coming of the Europeans to North America. And I think for me, to try to pigeonhole everything into that one category is like, oop, that's when Columbus came here, so I can't celebrate Thanksgiving. You're missing the point. Now, does this mean I have a big traditional dinner and trimmings and all the stuff? Kind of, yeah, because, I like turkey, and I like mashed potatoes and gravy, and I like the food, and I like to bake, and it's one of the few days that my family often has off at the same time so we can get together. So, for me, it's not necessarily a celebration of Thanksgiving, it's a celebration of family. Because you should be practicing thankfulness and gratitude every day. We're not, Sunday Christians or Sabbath pagans or whatever. It's It's something that we should be doing daily, is celebrating the bounty that we have, or sometimes the lack of bounty that we have. I mean, we've seen some of the problems that famous people seem to have, or famous people's kids. Oh boy, I'm glad I don't have those kids. I just don't know that I could handle all that stress and chaos and insanity. Yeah, my own are bad enough, and they didn't have all that privilege. Oof. I don't know, maybe they would have been fine with all the privilege. I would have liked to try, but anyway, different story, different day. So, celebration of family, I think, is a more appropriate time, or more appropriate celebration. And I've seen a lot of the different forums and such post questions. People are like, well, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so what do we do? We've got a 4-day weekend. What should we do? Well, oh my stars, there's so much you could do. For instance, yes, I did bake from scratch pumpkin pie because, yes, I roast my own pumpkin even, and it was fantastic. And it requires willpower to not eat it all. I'm trying to share. Yeah. But at the same time, I was also making gingerbread because Mini-Me wanted to make a gingerbread house. And talk about a good time. It was fun. The gingerbread's really easy to make. It's just flour, butter, brown sugar, molasses. I use pumpkin pie spice and some extra ginger, some salt. Baking powder? No, baking soda. And you roll it out really thin, you cut it into the right shapes, and then you bake it in the shapes. And you bake it a little long, so it's a little harder, a little firmer, so it's nice and dry. But if you're going to make cookies with it, maybe bake it a little less, make them a little thicker, that kind of thing. So I used about half of my dough to make a gingerbread house. And I didn't use a pattern because I wanted to freehand it, and it was fun. Why not? So our assembled gingerbread house looks a little bit like a drunken sailor. It's got a little bit of a lean and a little bit of a sag to it. But then, made the frosting from scratch, and we unwrapped the peppermints and the candy canes and the other miscellaneous candies that we put on our gingerbread house, and we just had a good time with it. Total prep time, I think, was maybe half an hour. I was already baking, so it didn't take much extra time. And like a 10-minute bake, and I just put it aside to cool and put it in a container so the cat wouldn't sit on it because ew. And about 5 minutes to whip up some frosting to put everything together, and we played with our gingerbread house for about an hour and a half. I mean, just good, clean fun. And then because we had the sugar high afterwards, because you can't make a gingerbread house without actually, sampling all the bits and pieces, the frosting, the candies, the gingerbread, all of it. So since ginger high afterwards, we decided to go outside, and we collected stuff for our Yule log, and we'll do the Yule log tomorrow. So celebrating family, it's a great time to celebrate family these couple days off. Unless you absolutely have to go to the grocery store, I would avoid it like the plague, because ew, who wants to go there? No, stores are crazy this time of year. Anyways, so yeah, spent some time playing cards, and we made the gingerbread house, put it all together. Had to clean up afterwards, and spent about an hour outside wandering around, picking holly and cedar and selecting the right log, and some fir and some pine cones, and some other miscellaneous stuff that was outside to put on our Yule log. And I'll have a picture of it for tomorrow night. And it was just fun. It was a good time. And there was no video games when we were doing that. There was no phone. There was no nothing. I did take pictures of the assembly of the gingerbread house because it was fun, and I got frosting on my phone. It was a good time. It was great. But something very interactive that you can do with your kids. Now, if you don't have the ability to make gingerbread, which I get, there are kits you can buy. Or if you don't want to go that route, which I get, you can buy the icing like the Betty Crocker icing, and a box of graham crackers, and you can put the graham crackers together and let your kids decorate it, and still good fun is had by all. And it's just a fun activity you can do with your family. That's family oriented, without TV, without technology. It's very low tech. Gingerbread houses are low tech. Sorry guys, they just are. And fun. And then gathering stuff for the Yule log, just walking around outside. Yeah, that was fun. That was good. It's nice to be outside. It wasn't too awful cold. It wasn't warm, but it was nice. And we just kept on doing our thing. And then I had a kind of gift certificate for these meal plan things. And so I got that was delivered today. So we went through that. And Mini-Me picked out a recipe that she wanted to make. It was, she had a choice, and she picked one, and lo and behold, we fixed it together. It was fun and interesting because she got to help chop up vegetables and stir things, and she helped make meatloaf, which she got her hands dirty. She wanted to put onions in it, even though she doesn't like onions. She knew she knows they taste good. She tried green pepper. Because we were dicing it up. It's like, here, try it. It tastes really good. It's not spicy. Oof. I'm sorry, Julia. That's expensive. If Mini-Me had any to fit, I would totally give them to you, but I don't. Julia, you next time you come over, remind me, and I might have some. Maybe? Oh, look. Yeah, I'll look. Anyways, yeah, just running around and having a good time outside. And then coming inside, and we cooked a meal, and we had dinner as a family. Again, no technology. Turn it off the phone. Turn off the TV. It's interesting how we get bored, and instead of finding creative things to do, we start looking online. And now I am one that will fall down the TikTok rabbit hole, or the Pinterest rabbit hole, or the YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, I will do those. And it's hard sometimes to pull myself out because there's so many interesting things to see. Oh my. At the same time, it's such a time waster. And you just don't get anything else done. So, yeah, that's not okay. Tomorrow after breakfast, we'll be putting together our Yule log. And it'll probably take about an hour to get it all done, maybe an hour and a half with cleanup. And then what am I going to do with the rest of the day? Well, I still want to go for a bit of a walk because walking is good for you. If you're having problems sleeping, by the way, try to add a little bit of physical activity to your world, your day. It's often a lack of physical fatigue that keeps us from resting well. And if we don't rest well, we don't get enough sleep, we wake up groggy and sleepy the next day, and it becomes this vicious cycle, and blah. Who wants to enjoy that? It's hard to enjoy it's hard to enjoy your day if you don't get enough rest, right? So, what else can you do? Well, there is a certain part of the world that seems to have a lot of fun doing marathons and fun runs and stuff around this time of year for Thanksgiving. I'm not one of them. I'm not a marathoner. I'm not a fun runner. I might sit on the side and say, "Good job, yay! Here, have some water." But that's it. I'm not gonna go jogging at dark 30 on Black Friday. Not happening. We had the turkey trot here locally as to raise money for Toys for Tots. Did I participate? No. Did I share it on Facebook? Yep, that's about the most I was going to do with it because that's not my gig, not my jam. But some people are into it. Other people create other things they can do that become an annual thing. Maybe it's go to the beach, go to the river, go to the lake, go for a hike, go look at some waterfalls. Now, granted, I know this time of year it's not always warm, depending on where you're at. Here locally, it was, I think 37 was the high today, so it wasn't cold. It wasn't warm either. It was kind of just unpleasant and a little damp. Our ski resort did open up. It was opening weekends, so you could have gone skiing or snowboarding. There's a skating rink or ice skate park down in Coeur d'Alene. You could go there. There's things to do. Go to a movie. Seriously, there's so much you can do this weekend that you shouldn't be wondering what to do. You really shouldn't. Now, do you have to do family type things? Well, no, you don't. Like doing the gingerbread house with my daughter was just fun, and doing the Yule log with my daughter tomorrow will be fun. She has a good time doing it, and I get to explain why we're doing it. We go into the story about the Oak King and the Holly King and how they, kind of battle it out at the, throughout the seasons, and they take turns being in charge, basically. Now, for me, I do see them as the two faces of the Green Man, or they could be two different aspects of Canunos, absolutely. I have no problems with that being stuck in the back of my head and my understanding. And yeah. And just the history of why we do the Yule log, where it came from. Just like, did you know Christmas trees started in Germany? Why? Well, the fir tree is kind of a fertility symbol, and it got adopted, and it's everywhere now. There's so much pagan symbolism. I mean, honestly, you could watch the Macy's parade as a family and, play pagan bingo, and for every pagan symbol you see in the parade that's supposedly not pagan, you get a dot. And winner gets a pie, I don't know, your $10 or whatever you put in your kitty as a prize. Maybe it's just bragging rights. But yeah, I mean, there is so much symbolism out there that is pulled from paganism, because historically it has to do with the season. And yeah, it's just, there's a lot of history there. This is why we do our research, because then you would know what kind of history is there. Wanda, you're funny. Wanda's listening from her pocket. I've done that too. I've participated in Zoom conferences that way as well. So I get it. Speaking of Zoom, so Hectic Eclectics got together for coffee here 2 weeks ago already. Holy cow. And in talking, we are probably going to be adding a Zoom conference per month, just because, with the time of the year, it's harder to get together, and the weather is often frightful, and sitting in front of a computer drinking your coffee in the comfort of your own pajamas and living room is often more delightful than driving the winter roads, which I totally understand. So be on the lookout. I'll be posting that on both Facebook and on the website, and I'll be hosting it. Maybe not from the studio here, but maybe from the living room or the kitchen table. Depends on where I happen to be parked at that moment. So yeah, we'll see. We're just at the bottom of the hour already. Cannot believe how fast time flies when we get on here. But yeah, we're just going to continue talking about gratitude and other things to do for Thanksgiving weekend that aren't necessarily a celebration of what has been traditional here in recent years. If you do have questions, by all means, drop them in the chat room or give me a call, because the phone lines are open. I just have to remember to check them every so often, but we'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between. And tonight, we're talking about ways to celebrate the Thanksgiving weekend without actually celebrating Thanksgiving. You know, what can we do? Well, there's actually quite a few things we can do. You don't have to celebrate Thanksgiving, contrary to what anybody believes. Well, for many, or what anybody says, I should say, for many people, that family togetherness that some people really cherish and enjoy isn't as enjoyable. And I understand because, well, let's just say I get it and I understand and I feel your pain. Because not all families are created equal, sadly. They just aren't. And not all families are accepting, and some are complicated. We'll leave the word as complicated. Complicated is a good way. And if you don't want to deal with a complicated family, well, guess what? You don't have to. That's one of the really awesome things about an adult is you can say no. You don't have to go to your family or hang out with your family that just you don't want to. Don't. And if your family says, well, we're doing Thanksgiving dinner and you should be there, and you say, no, I've got other plans this year, they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Are you mad at us? And you just say, no, I'm just trying to make other plans, or I have other commitments this year. Maybe you have to work. That does happen. Or it's like, hey, I'm spending it with friends this year, trying to reconnect, that sort of thing. You don't have to spend time with family. Everybody talks about how Thanksgiving is such a big family holiday, and is it? Yes, sure. But just like you shouldn't be celebrating gratitude and thankfulness on one day a year, you shouldn't be celebrating family on one day per year. You should be celebrating your family year round. I don't understand why there's that disconnect. It's like, your family is there, right? You should probably call your parents or your kids or your grandparents or your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, whatever. You should probably call them periodically, not just once a year. I myself am horrible at calling my sisters. Why? Because I am. I get busy doing other things. I know that they're busy doing other things, and just trying to make time for that is often difficult. So does that mean I can't? No, it just means I haven't done a very good job of doing that, and that's on me. The phone does go both ways, so do the roads, so it could be a bit more on them too, to maintain that connection. It's just not something as a group we're very good at. It's not our skill set, and that's okay. Often checking in with a quick message, it's like, hey, how's it going? That's what we have time for, because we all have our own lives. We all have our own families. We all have our own things we got to do. And often having 10, 15 minutes for a quick phone call, it's hard to find that time. And instead you play phone tag, and that's frustrating. You could always just write a letter. People love getting mail these days. I do. I actually have a bunch of things I'd even be mailing out. Yes, I do, and I'm trying to remember that as I'm trying to get them all done, and yeah, I'm working on it. So yeah, celebrate family year-round, not just on the big holidays. Just like you shouldn't celebrate the gods just on the big holidays. You shouldn't celebrate your ancestors just on the big holidays. You shouldn't give thanks just on the big holidays. This should be part of your daily life, your living with intention, your how to be a better person practice. I hope you're journaling things on how to show your gratitude, or to your family. How often do you say thank you to your spouse? Most of us have problems with that one. We're not very good at it. Why? Because it's just kind of assumed. I'm glad my spouse is in the world, and thank you for being there. And do I ever say it out loud? Not very often. I should, though, because I am grateful. I don't always do a good job of showing it, so I should probably say it once in a while. How often do you say thank you to your kids? Not because they went and got your fuzzy slippers because your feet are cold, but just, thank you for being my kids. Thank you for growing up to being the awesome people that they are. Um, I mean, my boys are turning out fantastic. I'm very impressed by them, 100%. My daughter scares me. She's only 7. A lot could happen. She has a lot of energy. She's strong-willed. I know where my gray hair comes from, and it wasn't the boys. Nope. Being grateful to your friends. I know that I am not the easiest person to be a friend to. It's not so much that I'm high maintenance, it's just I'm so low maintenance that I forget that other people might be high maintenance, and trying to reach out on a regular basis to my friends and saying, hey, hi friend, what are you doing? We should talk sometime, have coffee. Or, what's going on in your world? Yeah, not very good at it. I try. I do try. But it's a skill set that I need to work on. Yep, just a really big skill set that I need to work on because, yeah. So yeah, being grateful isn't hard. And it's part of, it should be part of our everyday life. And do we need to celebrate it with turkey? No. Or duck or ham or barbecued rib or McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. No. You celebrate your gratitude however you feel comfortable celebrating your gratitude. Just like leaving an offering for our deities. Well, what are we going to leave? Generally speaking, honey is a good universal. I'll put moon water sometimes on my altar. Sometimes nuts. It depends on what I've got going on and what I'm doing. Indoors versus outdoors, I try not to leave a lot of food stuff type items on my altar because I live rurally and mice can truly be an issue. And yeah, we don't want that at all. So, you know, and if I'm doing food type things, I might be doing it outside instead. So I want to make sure I'm leaving something that the animals can eat. Just like in putting together our Yule log and the things I want to put on there, I will be double checking as I'm assembling it because I don't want to put something on there that the cats might get into that might make them sick, or the dog. Crazy boxer as I'm trying to pick cedar branches so I can put them in my basket to bring them in so they're nice and dry before we put them on. She kept trying to steal my cedar. Actually, she was trying to steal the whole basket. If I'd just given her the basket handle, she would have ran away with it. And spilled everything. Yeah. Goofy dog. But yeah, you know, be grateful for the things in your life daily. Be grateful you have a job. You may not like your job. And I understand 100%. You do not have to like your job. But you should be grateful for it. Because there's people out there who are looking and can't find one. Either they're underqualified or they're overqualified or they're underage or overage. Yes, overage is absolutely 100% a thing. Once you reach a certain age, you're not as desirable to employers. And it's frustrating. And, excuse me, how about a reliable transportation? Be grateful for that. It might be the bus. It might be a bicycle. It might be your own 2 feet. But you know what? There's people out there who wish they could walk. Or drive your beater clunky car that's hideous. My first car was 2-tone rust. Parts of it were held together with electrical tape and baling wire. And Bondo. And you know what? I was very grateful for my car because it gave me freedom that I desperately needed. Desperately needed. So yeah, you find things to be grateful for. And sometimes, oftentimes, it's hard to find something to be grateful for. So, how about for the next year, every day, you have a grateful jar. Every day. Write down one thing that you are grateful for. It could be something small, I'm grateful for dry socks. There's nothing like warm or dry socks when your feet are wet. Oh, they're fantastic. Or fuzzy slippers, or blankets straight out of the dryer, or a cup of tea, or a fresh cup of coffee, waking up to the smell of bacon, sunshine, rainbows, rain. I mean, there's so many things to be grateful for. Just write down on each page, I am grateful for whatever. And put it in your jar. And then next Thanksgiving, when you are wondering, what should I do for Thanksgiving? Read them all. I mean, wouldn't that be just a fantastic thing, a tradition to start? Oh, my stars. All the things you're grateful for over the course of a year. And it's not celebrating the Columbus aspect or the European movement to the U.S., or North America, I should say, or anything like that. No, you're learning how to celebrate your gratitude. Because often we get so stuck in the, man, my cell phone service is slow. My internet connection is horrible. Why won't the traffic speed up? Why is that guy going so fast? Would you stop that? Quit fighting with your brother. Quit fighting with your sister. Could you leave the toilet seat down? Hey, aren't you going to make breakfast? Whatever it is that we find problems with throughout the day, or the week, or the month, the year, because they're out there. It's like, why isn't the mail here already? It's 4 o'clock. Well, apparently it was lost. Which I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to ask on Monday. But, what if instead of looking for the negative, we trained our brains to look for the positive? It's actually a thing. It's called positive behavioral management. It's a technique that is taught often in schools and child care centers, child care providers. It is how to look for the positive things in children or in your day-to-day activities, instead of looking for the negative things, and learning how to celebrate the positives rather than the negatives. And this is actually a really huge concept, and something I've been working on with Mini-Me. Because so often we hear the negative, and you have to hear 10 positives, I think, to counteract the impact of one negative statement. You stop and think about it. That's a big deal. That's a lot of positives you got to hear to offset one negative thing that you hear. So if you're on social media a lot, maybe you post pictures of yourself, your family, your house, whatever, and people are snide and commenting negatively about whatever it is you're posting. Excuse me. You need 10 positive comments to offset one negative one. So, online bullying, cyberbullying, yeah, that's a real deal. Why? It's because it's easy to say something negative. It's harder to say something positive. I'm sure there's a psychological reason for it. I don't know for sure. Excuse me. But it is. It's just easier to say negative things, it seems like, online. Keyboard warriors type out negative stuff all the time. What if all the keyboard warriors picked one day to say something positive all day long, instead of focusing on negative stuff? Wouldn't the internet be a different place? Oh my gosh. It would crash. Nobody would know what to do. The news people would have to say something positive instead of negatives all the time. Oof. The politicians wouldn't be able to blame someone else. Yeah, that'd be kind of a, wow, different world if we focus more on the positives. So yeah. Challenge accepted. I'm not going to post it on Facebook or social media, the website, but yeah, I'm thinking, I'm looking at a jar that's pretty empty right now that I could put positive affirmations in every day. Work with Mini-Me. Find the positive. I like it. So I hope you guys do it too. Find something to celebrate every doggone day. Sometimes being grateful for being, like Wanda says in chat, is a very true thing. When I had COVID, as I've mentioned in the past, I was sick. I was really, really sick. And I was getting to the point where I was worried about how sick I was and if I was going to need to go to the doctor or the hospital, because I was that sick. It wasn't an oxygen issue, it was a fluid issue. Even though I was drinking a lot of fluid, I mean, I was drinking my 20-ounce bottle of water. I was like 4 of them a day, 5 of them a day. I was also drinking tea and coffee, and not coffee because everything tasted horrible, but tea and broth, and just trying to keep my fluids up, but I was dehydrated and I was worried about it. And I was at that point where I was wondering if I needed to go to the hospital. If I hadn't gotten treatment when I did, yes, hospital would have been where I went. So the first day I woke up feeling a little bit better instead of a little bit worse. I was very grateful for that. Yes, very. And it was hard to be grateful for that because I felt like crap. But I could still feel. So that was the important thing. I lost my sense of smell. Everything smelled like bleach. It didn't matter what I did, it smelled like bleach. Cleaning the cat box smelled like bleach. Is there a positive in that? Yeah, I couldn't smell the cat box, so that was definitely a positive moment. It's like, woohoo, can't smell the kitty box. I know it's bad because I can see it, but I can't smell it. I smell bleach. Slicing onions didn't bother me in the slightest. All I smelled was bleach. So, yeah, find the positive. And if you're doing this with your kiddos, it's a really great way to help them to focus on the positives. One of the questions I ask my daughter when she gets home from school is I ask her what her favorite thing about the day was. Sometimes it's what they did at recess. Sometimes it's what she did with her friends. Sometimes it's PE. Sometimes it's music. It varies, and it's rarely the same 2 days in a row. And there's always a variety. But I ask her, what was your favorite thing today? What was the best part of the day? Not because I don't think she has a good day at school. It's because I want to know, what she really enjoyed. And if you ask any child, how was school today? You're going to get a single word answer. Good. Bad. That's if they answer. So yeah, ask a question that requires a more definitive answer. So yeah, when she says PE, it's like, oh, why'd you like PE? Or, oh, why'd you like lunch? Or, oh, why'd you like recess? Just ask those questions, and it helps you to become a better engaged parent or a more engaged parent and a better understanding. And your kiddos get in the habit of talking to you when they have things come up. So I know that she had a negative experience on last week on the bus, and that'll be addressed on Monday when school's back in session, because she's comfortable coming to both myself and the other parental unit and straight up saying, hey, I had a problem and I'm sad. Because we've helped her to be comfortable saying those things. And so am I grateful that she's a good kid? Yes. I'm so happy that she's got words and she can use them, and she's teaching me all sorts of things. So, yeah, grateful jar. I'm going to do one. And in a year's time, if I'm, depending on how the videos are going or what's going on in the world, we'll empty out the jar and we'll see what kind of pile I have. So yeah, the challenge is one positive thing. What one thing are you grateful for every day? Yeah. So I can find something. Wanda in the chat says, mouse problems. Well, everyone seems to have mouse problems lately. Yes. Can I say something positive about mouse problems? Yeah, absolutely. My cats like to eat mice, so they like to catch them. The downside, they're not very good at it, but they do catch them occasionally. For those of you who've seen Drama on the camera, yeah, she's a fat cat, and it's not because we feed her. It's because we feed her, yes, but she is not afraid to add an appetizer or dessert or snack. The other two cats haven't quite figured it out yet. They're getting there, but it's not there yet. They'll figure it out. I hope. So, yeah, gratitude. Sometimes you really do have to look for it. I've had days where I wake up with a total migraine and I feel icky and miserable, and I'm just grateful I can go back to bed and go back to sleep. And you know what? That's not all bad either. You celebrate the little things. It doesn't have to be big. It's not like, ooh, I'm grateful I won the lottery. Well, if you did, congratulations. I would love a new car. Um, but if you didn't win the lottery, that's fine. What are you grateful for? Well, in a way, not winning the lottery, it's kind of a good thing. Because think about some of the problems that those folks have. Oof. Was it like 90% of people who win the lottery have nothing to show for it after 10 years? Which is a horrible number. Not surprised, because most people don't know how to actually spend money correctly. They know how to spend money, but not correctly. Two different things. So, anyways, gratitude jar. Fill it up. Put some things in there. What are you happy about? What makes you smile? What makes you happy? What are you thankful for? And yeah, get your kids involved. Often they come up with some doozies. Some things that you just don't notice as an adult. It's like the magic of childhood is so phenomenal. They just see the world differently than we do as adults. They're not jaded, generally. Sometimes they are, but generally not. And they're just seeing the world through a different lens. So their way of observing things and experiencing things and acknowledging things is going to be different than what we as adults do. So that's why I say get your kids involved, or grandkids, or nieces, nephews, whomever. And yep, I will have a jar, my gratitude jar. What am I thankful for? And we'll see what happens. The hard part will be getting in the habit of doing it, which I get. You'll just have to put an alarm on the phone. Hey, do your gratefulness thing. There's a trick here. If you have a pet, every time you put something in your grateful jar, feed your pet or give your pet a snack. So it's every time. Preferably same time of day, every day. And you do that for just a little bit, and your pet is going to tell you that they demand and they need something right then. They'll get in the habit of telling you, hey, go do your thing because I need my treat. Or I need my lunch. And cats are really good about telling you when they're hungry. They sit on you and they make noise and they're annoying. And actually so do dogs, now that I think about it. So yeah, trying to build good habits. Sometimes we all need those reminders. Use a dry erase marker and write it on your bathroom mirror or your vanity mirror, because it works like a dry erase board. It's actually easier to clean. And just say, hey, don't forget your grateful jar. Or if you've got a refrigerator that's got a nice smooth surface, even if it's the stainless steel one, you can still use the dry erase marker and write on there. Yeah. Really. I mean, why not? A refrigerator is a great place to write positive affirmations. And oddly, the stainless steel or brushed steel looking refrigerators are aluminum, not steel, so magnets don't stick. Or at least not mine. There's like 4 places on the front of my fridge where you can stick a magnet. And I don't want to put anything there because it's the handle. So, yeah. We're just about to the top of the hour already. When we come back, we're going to do some singing bowl. Remember, if you do have questions or you want to join in the show, you can give a call because the phone lines are open. That number again is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, 44203-393-2871. Or if you don't want to be on the phone, which I get, or if you don't want to share in a chat room because they are public, I get that too. You can always send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. If you want like gift certificates for readings and stuff, I do have those available. I'll get those listed on the website this weekend for like tarot readings or dream interpretation, because I know sometimes we get something that we just need to have explained to us, or talk it out with someone who can listen and give us a little bit of guidance. So anyways, we are off to break, and I guess we'll see you guys in a few. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a fantastical weekend full of turkey and all the trimmings. Be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're we're off adventuring into the spaces between. And, yeah, it's some singing bowl time. So we'll, hold please. Yes, singing bowl. We need more of that. Yes, without a doubt. Peace, calm, tranquility, mellow out, relax. That's one thing turkey is good for, the tryptophan. Puts you to sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm nothing like needing a nap after turkey dinner. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm definitely one of those people. I wanted a nap so bad. Instead, I did some dishes. Not quite the same level of rewarding. It's good, because I am very grateful for a clean kitchen, I gotta tell you. And anytime I don't have to do the dishes, I am extraordinarily grateful, because it's one of those things I just don't like. So, all right. So other things that you can do on Thanksgiving weekend that have absolutely nothing to do with the Thanksgiving holiday, which I get, because some people just don't want to do it. There's too much family drama, too much chaos, too much. Well, I've got an article here from learnreligions.com, and just real quick, we're going to go through it. So if you don't want to celebrate, do something good for someone else. So one thing that you can absolutely do to, if your family is hounding you saying, hey, why aren't you here for the holidays? It's like, well, sorry, I decided to volunteer for the soup kitchen and feed the homeless this time. That's, if that's truly what you're doing, absolutely worth saying. But, think about it, though. There's a lot of people right now around the world, not just here in the U.S., but around the world, that are dealing with shortfalls. Either they've gotten the COVID, or a family member's gotten a COVID, they've lost someone due to COVID, or they've lost their job due to COVID. I mean, 2020s have been quite bizarre. And as a result, people are dealing with some stuff. And, it's time to kind of look around and see what you have that you don't need, or resources that you can share or whatever, and do some good for someone else, whatever it may be. Buy lunch for a vet or law enforcement or first responder or a doctor or nurse. I mean, if you see someone in scrubs ordering lunch behind you, or getting ready to order lunch behind you, just buy their lunch. Pay it forward. At some point, they're going to be trying to look out for you or your loved one, and just do something good for them. Or if you don't want to do that, donate food to your local food bank. Excuse me. There's food banks that are often community run. There's food banks that are run by other nonprofit organizations like churches. You can absolutely donate to either of those. And stop and think about some of the stuff that you are donating. Think about it. If you're going to donate macaroni and cheese, for instance, is there going to be butter and milk to make the macaroni and cheese, or are they going to have to figure that out or buy it on their own? So I personally like to donate things that are a little bit more user-friendly, or donate to your local animal shelter with food or toys. If you're going through your closet, or someone that has passed away, Donate the clothes to your local nursing home. A lot of the folks at the nursing homes, they don't get a lot of new stuff. You're going to want to make sure it's clean and really and neat, not holy. The buttons are where they need to be, that kind of thing. And often the folks in the nursing homes or the retirement homes, they're on fixed incomes. They don't have a lot of resources, so they don't get a lot of new clothes. It's amazing how a pair of new socks will make someone feel. I love new socks. I love putting them on. I love how comfortable they are. I love all the things about new socks. So yeah, instead of, focusing on Thanksgiving dinner and all of the commercialism that's going on right now, do something good for someone else. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be little. Go to your local WIC office. Donate diapers. Actually, a lot of the clinics, the sliding fee clinics that are around, they will have sometimes donations available to give to people in need who are coming into their clinic. So see if they need something. Sometimes it's toothbrushes, sometimes it's diapers, sometimes it's both. What's needed. Your food banks will tell you if there's a non-food item that is desperately needed in the community. Think about it. There are some places in the U.S. right now, I'm thinking of Michigan right off the top of my head, where getting fresh water, drinkable water, is hard. So, donating some water to the food bank, that's kind of a huge thing. So create something new. So, holiday season, some places right now the weather is icky. Sometimes not, but it is what it is. Make a craft with your kids especially, or your grandparents. I saw a really awesome one on, I don't remember where it was. It was as an older gentleman. He had gotten a $5 bin of Christmas ornaments from Walmart, I think it was, and they were all red. And then he had gotten some of the expanding foam for filling in gaps in your house or your foundation or whatever. And he had just squeezed out little blops of these foam, on wax paper, and then he'd peeled them off, and he was stringing through the red Christmas ornaments and then through the blop of foam. So it looked like red ornaments mixed in with popcorn, and he was hanging them on his trees outside. I thought it was super cute. So yeah, maybe you have somebody in your neighborhood, for instance, that is housebound. They can't get out because they have a physical disability or an illness, or maybe their family's dealing with some sort of stress. As a neighborhood, get together and do something positive. I'm not saying, pay all their bills for the next month. Bring them a box of food, or, shovel their driveway, or mow their yard. It doesn't have to be big. Often it's the little things that make the biggest impression and help the most. And then when it comes to your kids, man, you can do all sorts of crafts. There's felt crafts. You can make poppets. You can make, I made gnomes with my daughter, which are fun to give as gifts. So I'll be making more of those. If you're like me as a witch, I've got bits and pieces of all sorts of craft stuff all over the place. We can make things. And when it's icky out, why not? Who wants to go stand in the rain, to go play in the mud? Make something instead. If you do have felt or whatever you're making, add some herbs, like rosemary or mint or something like that, an aromatic, as a sachet before you give it to somebody else, as something that smells good. Put a protective type smell in there, or a money drawing, or a love attracting, or hope you sleep. Like lavender is really good for that one. There's all different things you can put in your sachets. There's You can grab twigs or pipe cleaners. You can make shapes. You can, I've got a star that I made with the twisty ties and, actually no, it's hair ties. The little cheap tiny ones you get at the dollar store for like the end of your hair or your braid. A handful of those and some twigs, I made a star. It's pretty easy. You just do the things. Cut to length. You can make pentacles. You just have all sorts of different things to hang around your house to help you celebrate Yule in the season without having to spend a lot of money. You can make salt dough, which is just salt and flour and water. Knead it together. You roll it out, cut it into shapes. Bake them so they're nice and hard, and you can paint them, and you can hang them on your own Christmas tree, or you can give them to your neighbors or friends or whomever. It's just a little bit of you going to them. Yeah, I mean, you can just think about it. If you've got a salt ornament on one side, it says Happy Yule 2021, and then on the back side you have like a protection rune or whatever rune that you want to put on there, or a sigil or something. One for health. You can get a dollar store picture frame and get go wildcrafting, go collect pine cones or twigs or pine needles or ferns or outside, or you can get them from the dollar store or craft area or whatever. Go to the thrift stores. Often they'll have a bouquet of random fake flowers that just look horrible, and you take them home, you take them apart, and you can reassemble them in other places. Wanda says glue and glitter goes a long way. Yes. Be careful of the glitter fairy. She will leave that stuff everywhere. Kind of like sugar sprinkles. But yeah, the twigs and stuff, you can put them around the picture frame. Make a collage. Make it look pretty. You can put it on your altar. You can put it on your kitchen table. You can make there's so many different things you could do there. Get a pine cone, cover it with peanut butter, and roll it in birdseed and hang it outside for the birds. Talk about something easy to put on your outdoor altar. Yes. Make a Yule log, just like I'm going to do with Mini-Me tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. And if you're not used to going out in the woods and picking things to put on your Yule log, do some research first. Make sure you're picking the right things. Because in walking around the property, I had to point out, it's like, oop, don't pick that one. She's like, oh, why not? I said, well, look at it closely. She goes, oh, that's poison ivy. I don't want to touch that one. I'll itch. It's like, exactly. So it's a really great opportunity to teach your littles about what they can pick and what they cannot pick. And often your spirit guides will be out there saying, hey, check this out. Man, did I see some mushrooms today. I was really surprised. But yeah, make an adventure of it. If the weather holds this next week, I kind of want to go adventuring down to the lake and see. There's a couple different places where sticks and things will wash up. I've got some stick art that I'll be putting on the website and jewelry and everything. So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, Yule log. Yes. Holly's awesome. Let's see. Another one that you could do is this one says get green. So basically you're trying to teach your kids how to go green and recycle things. I have an indoor tree. It's a fake tree. Do I feel kind of bad? Yeah. Have I had it for a while? Yes. It was pre-lit. The lights burned out. So I just hang lights on it. Because why not? And it's easy. I would love to have a fresh tree, but North Idaho can be quite dry, and if they're not watered regularly, they dry really fast and become a fire hazard. I just don't want to, and I like my trees outside. I'll put greenery on my Yule log instead. You can... So, spruce and evergreen is the only green in the freezing area. Well, I have spruce and evergreen and cedar, and my holly is still green. Actually, I've got I have dandelions growing right now. I don't understand. And mushrooms. Seriously, mushrooms. They're everywhere. And cute little bitty teeny tiny ones that we're not going to eat. So yeah, If you are in one of those cold frozen areas right now, yes, it's a little harder to get the green stuff or the stuff to put on your Yule log. I get it. You may have to go buy it instead. Generally speaking, throughout the fall, I like to go on walks with Mini-Me and find different things and just collect them rather than one thing at a time or go out one day. This year is a little harder just because of my own personal mobility. I'm getting better at that though, and so yeah, it's it's an adventure. Anytime you can go out and collect that kind of thing is a good time. Now instead of saying, "Oh, hey, it's Thanksgiving," I've seen some people call it Friendsgiving. Just say, "Hey, we're having a friendly get together, or we're just gonna have dinner." And they ask, "Oh, what are we having for dinner?" Well, I don't know. What do you want? Prime rib's good. You don't have to have turkey. Have goose. Have duck. Do something different. But pick a theme. Although food has to be red, or a region. Like I know someone who is Russian. She's not Russian. She's American, but she grew up in Russia. So she does this New Year's Eve Russian meal every year. And oh my stars, that is some good food. Nom, 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 nom. Yes. Wanda says sage stays. Yeah, absolutely. So you can always go to the grocery store and get herbs in the produce section and use them too. I mean, all that stuff. Sage will stay green. If you're getting ready, going to have a Sabbath or Esbat or something at your house, or just winter get together, whatever you want to call it, do a potluck so not one person has to do it all, but everybody's contributing. And something fun there. Have everybody bring the recipe card to hand out, for whatever it is they brought, so that everybody can share recipes too. Don't mind the noisy cat. He's kind of a pest. Tell stories, often instead of, sitting around watching movies. I was just thinking of some of the movies that I've watched in marathon style on Thanksgiving. There's been Star Wars. There's been Star Trek. There's a few of them out there. But instead, tell stories. Sit around the campfire or the bonfire, whatever, or the living room, whatever works, and take turns telling stories. Sometimes, we just need to tell stories, and we need to remember some of the old stories. So, as pagans and witches, we're learning lore, or we have lore knowledge from our ancestors. So tell some of those historical tales, like about the Holly King and the Oak King, or about Gaia or Hecate, or different stories about your own deities. I've got a cat. Why are cats important to the Egyptians? There's all sorts of stories, and if you don't know one, you could say, well, this isn't a real story. This is a pretend story, and I'm going to make one up. And have everybody talk and have a good time. Record it. Talk about some really fun memories and have those stories for posterity. Some of the things that my daughter says as a story, oh my stars. The way her brain works is fantastic. And there's been a few times that she started telling me a story, and I'm scrambling to find my phone so I can download the audio because it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And she's 7. It's like, where did her brain come up with all of this stuff? It's great. And I don't want to lose it because it is great and it makes me happy. And hopefully it'll keep making her happy as she gets older too. And in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, whatever, when we're getting together for the holidays, we've got the grandkids and the kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, whatever, we can all say, so we told stories once upon a time, and these are the stories we told. If you've got some sort of, if you have time, you can go through and transcribe everything or write it down and publish it in a book. Christmas stories or Yule stories or Thanksgiving stories, whatever year, and do it every year. Give it as Christmas gifts the following year. Wouldn't that be fun? I mean, that one. I like that one. All these different things that you can do as a family that are celebrating family and togetherness and the season without having to celebrate the commercialized holiday that Thanksgiving has become or that Christmas has become. I mean, yes, we have Yule coming up in real short order, which cannot believe the way this year is starting to scream by completely. Just gone. So, with the holidays and everything, what is it that you can do to help celebrate or help slow down life a little bit instead of trying to keep up with the rat race? So something else you do, make an event. Go cut down a Christmas tree as a family. Go snow sledding. Go skiing. Or, depending on where you're at, go for a cruise. Here locally, if I were to go down to Coeur d'Alene, which is about an hour away, the Coeur d'Alene Resort is a kind of a big deal right on the lake, and they have several cruise boats. They're party barges, honestly, but they call them cruise boats. And you can buy tickets, and you can go have dinner out on the lake. They have eagle watching cruises. They have Christmas light cruises, and there's all sorts of things you can do that are fun that you can go do. Often, like with the Christmas light one, they go around the lake and they look at the different Christmas lights on the expensive houses that are facing the lake, which are pretty fantastic. And then you get to see Santa and you get pictures, and it's a good time. Definitely a family type of tradition if that's what you want to do. Now, personally, I can only handle somebody else's kids for so long, so doing one of those is a short trip for me. There's other things that I'm going to want to do. And what else can I do? And going for the hike, or go check out Hot Spring Resort or something as a group. Those family holidays don't have to be just in the fun weather. They can be in the icky weather too, or the icky time of year. Just be safe, plan ahead, don't get in a hurry, slow down. Hey, Jessica, happy holidays. So, Yule is coming up just like 3.5 weeks away. Oh, my stars. And if you don't know enough about Yule, I'll have a link in the show notes here to a website called Kids Connect. It's one that's generally for teachers and education, but they've got a bunch of Yule activities that are good. And sometimes you just need the resources to find something to do. To either entertain your kids or to entertain yourself. I mean, here for me, we had this week off. The entire week was off of school. So we've been doing, things. Has she been on the screen a little too long? Yes. Are we trying to work on that? Yes. We'll get there. And then next week she goes back to school, but she's only in school for like 2.5, 3 weeks, and then she's out for winter break. She'll be out for 2 weeks, and then she goes back. And so there's going to be some time in there that she will need to do something. Yes, she can do school-like activities. Or she could, play with friends. We've had a couple play dates. We'll probably plan a couple more. But she also likes to make things. So, like cooking with her tonight was fun. Need to do that a little bit more because she enjoys it. And in helping to prepare the food, she was eating things that she doesn't normally eat. So I like it. And often when kids are participating in food preparation or meal prep, they get more involved and they do want to eat those things that they're not really used to. So, bottom of the hour already. When we come back, we're going to finish up, and then, can't believe this night's just screaming by. If you do have questions, remember, send me the email, wildepaisley@gmail.com, or drop a line in the chat rooms. And during the break, don't forget to check out iLife.com. iLife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. We'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. We're talking about things to do other than celebrate Thanksgiving on a Thanksgiving weekend. Now, I know some crazy people are out there like, woohoo, we're going to go on a 5K run. I'll make the coffee, and then I'll drink the coffee, and then I'll see you when you get back. Not a runner. I'm not embracing that lifestyle. I'm a walker. Sometimes I stroll. Sometimes I can saunter, but generally, no. This is not a shape that runs. Nope. Jessica says, make a gingerbread house with mini me during the holidays. Yes. Let's see if I can. I have a picture. I wonder if I can get it up. Dun, da, 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 da. Okay, so go this way. I want this. Don't mind me while I talk to myself. Because I got to figure out how I want that. Yes. Oh, computer. I swear, I keep catching myself looking at my things differently, and it's like, how far away do I have to hold the phone nowadays to see something? It's frustrating. So, all right. Well, that's doing its thing. We'll see if I can get it to cooperate. I'm trying. Yeah, there's that. Nope, not that. I swear. And I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, nope, those are all the wrong dates. Now, it helps if I push this button. That's why. Yes. There we go. Because technology, right? Jessica says she's finishing up holiday shopping. Yeah, rub it in, why don't ya? I am trying. Actually, I've got it halfway done, which is good, right? Being halfway done, mostly done, partway done. Actually, I'll take any done. There we go. And I want to. I can't just, click and go, right? I'm working on it. Yeah, so we're talking about, what can you do instead of celebrate Thanksgiving? Because there's a bunch of people out there who just don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. Now, I've seen some of the reasons for not celebrating Thanksgiving, and all I can think is like, guys, really. Thanksgiving isn't the day that the European settlers killed a bunch of Native Americans or indigenous peoples. They broke bread together. That's what they were doing. Is it what they should have been doing? No. They should not have been trying to, well, actually, breaking bread and celebrating life with them, yes. But it was some of the other choices they were making that were not so celebratory. So that's the stuff that I cannot celebrate. But trying to be joyful for the season, yes. Thankful for things, yes. So yeah, gratitude jar. What am I thankful for throughout the year? You could do this, start it on your birthday, you could start first of the year, and then you can start this kind of thing whenever. But if you're specifically looking for something to do instead of Thanksgiving dinner, yeah, then this might be the thing. And then, do something for somebody else. Something you could do as a group, and this is fun. I've done this. Have everybody bring some stuff, some craft type stuff, and make a bunch of cards. Whether it's kids or grandkids or adults or siblings or whatever. You can buy cardstock. You can buy all sorts of scrapbooking materials everywhere. You can get them at thrift stores. You can get them at craft stores. You can buy them pretty much everywhere. Everybody makes some cards, um, to send out for Christmas or Yule, or birthday cards for throughout the year, or whatever. I mean, there's so many options. Anybody who knows anybody who does stamping on cards or card creation, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wanda says 2 hour drive home makes shopping hard. Yes. Um, if I am going into town for a doctor's appointment, often there's a grocery store stop and a Costco stop, and there's a few stops along the way, because if I'm going to make that kind of an effort to go somewhere, I'm going to get the most out of it I possibly can. Because, yeah, there's just a lot there. And I might as well do it all in one fell swoop instead of how many trips? Because my little community here, do we have a Walmart? Yes. Do we have a farm store? Yes. Do we have some other cutesy little kitschy shops? Yes, we do. And they're good. They are good. Local mom and pop shops. I do like to support them as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. However, prices are not always, wallet friendly. And often there just isn't something that I'm looking for. And so I need more, a bigger selection, if you will. So going to a larger community means a bit of a drive. I mean, I can go to Spokane to go shopping. They've got a couple 100,000 people. The Spokane Coeur d'Alene regional area, or metro area, if you combine them both, have just about 1 million people, which is plenty. And I'm happy to tell the gods that we don't need any more. If they're born here, that's one thing, but we don't need any more to move in. Thank you. The gates are closed. No, seriously. But yeah, it's Sandpoint has about 6,000 people, so the options for going shopping are a little different. And that's just the way of it. It's a population thing. We do get a lot of folks come down from Canada when the borders open, which is good. But I don't know. Yeah, Wanda's right. It does make it hard to shop. And yes, graham crackers, yes. Oreo cookies, yes. There's all sorts of things you can use for gingerbread houses. I actually made gingerbread, and it was fun. And Minnie-Me got to unwrap all of those little peppermint candies, and she put them on the roof, and we did Twizzlers for trim on the house, and she did butterscotch windows, and yeah, it was just fun. It was fun. And when it's all done, and it's kind of getting stale again, a friend of mine has a pig, and Porky the pig will be quite happy to have a gingerbread house. I'm almost positive. Actually, I'm pretty sure he'll be ecstatic to have a gingerbread house. So, yeah. When it comes to the things you can do to celebrate or have things to do for the holiday weekend, it doesn't have to be celebrating Thanksgiving as Thanksgiving. Celebrate your family. Celebrate the things you're grateful for. You know what? It's a good weekend to do crafts with your friends and your family as they get together. I mean, a lot of people generally have Thanksgiving Day off anyways, and if you're not into football or watching sports on TV or going for a movie or whatever, do other things. Find something else. Do a potluck dinner or lunch, and then do, card creating or craft creating. You can always do a paint and sip at home. There's all sorts of YouTube videos on how to do a paint and sip. Everybody bring paints and canvases and have fun. Just do something that's celebrating coming together, celebrating family, just celebrating rather than just the commercial side of it. And then when it comes to practicing your craft, kitchen witchery doesn't always mean mixing herbs and stuff for a spell. Honestly, kitchen witchery could be making that gingerbread house. I mean, did I add things together to make the gingerbread? Yes. I was doing it with a sense of fun and adventure and love for my family and my daughter because I knew she wanted to do it. Same thing, buying all the little candies we were going to put on it. Same sense of love and adventure and all that. And then, and putting it together. We assembled it with fun and lightheartedness, and we're going to do this thing, and it's going to be creative and crafty, and there's snacking of candy. She was so buzzed on sugar. Oh, my stars. So, in a way, my little gingerbread house here that we made is definitely a spell. It's definitely a ritual, assembling things, putting things together, making sure the corners are all kind of together. There's a lot of support on the inside. There's a lot of frosting. There's so many different things that went into it. Yeah, it was a spell. And one of the key ingredients was love. Not very tangible, that love, but it's there. And fun. We had fun for an hour creating something like that. Wanda in the chat room says, old-time recipes are witchery passed on sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. There, if you look at the actual ingredients in some of those recipes, especially the herbs, and you do a little bit of research on what the different herbs are and what they are good for, pumpkin pie really is a protective spell. It just is protection spell. And I use pumpkin pie spice in a lot of my sweets cooking anyway. So my gingerbread house had pumpkin pie spice. So my little house here is very protective. And so it's just a matter of figuring out what you have to do. And oh yes, Jessica, I've got this much dough that's going to be turned into cookies tomorrow. And we've got enough frosting left over, so we'll be frosting, turning them into Christmas ornaments. Probably purple and green because that's the kind of sugar I have. So, or maybe some food coloring, make different colors. I don't know. We'll figure it out. They taste good. But yeah, it's crafting and stuff like this is fun. Gingerbread house is fun, yes, but it's also with intent. It's also with purpose. As I was gathering all the stuff to make the gingerbread house, my purpose was to have fun with my daughter and make something. That's a pretty good intent. And we succeeded. And then afterwards, to burn some of that sugar that we had accumulated, because, oh my goodness, she was hard on the whoppers. And we went out and gathered stuff for the Yule log. But in gathering, we were talking about the holly, and we talked about the oak, and we saw deer prints, and we saw some deer poo, and we got to look at the little mushrooms, and we looked at different sticks, and she wanted some that had more of a green moss and some with more of a turquoise moss. I gotta be careful because she said turquoise. She wanted to check on her fairy garden and see if the wind had blown anything over, and we got to see a tree that the wind had blown over, and so it was just this whole adventure thing, this time that I got to spend with her outside doing stuff. And tomorrow we're going to be inside doing stuff, which is good because I think the weather's supposed to be icky tomorrow. It never fails. It's always got to have at least one icky day, right? This time of year. We had snow yesterday, so yeah, it'll be icky. It'll be cold if nothing else. Yeah. Cold rain. 90% chance of cold, miserable rain. When I say cold rain, I say it's 40 degrees or less. It's cold, miserable rain. So, and do I want to be outside in that? Nope. So when you're making your plans as a family to do things together, yeah, make sure you're throwing in a little bit of wiggle room and alternative plans. Because say I was planning on going out with my family tomorrow to go cut down a Christmas tree. Well, either I plan for a rainy event or I postpone it until it's not raining. Or both. I mean, it kind of depends. So if I were to go cut down a tree, I'd want to leave it in the carport to let it dry out just a little bit before I brought it in the house because I don't want all of that wet in the house. And that's just being aware of the timing and what's going on in the world, and just paying attention. There's a lot of stuff that is happening out in the world right now that if you're not paying attention, it's gonna bite you in the butt. I am having a hard time looking at the news reports anymore because I'm like, seriously? I'm so confused. So instead of focusing on what's in the news, I'm focusing on what I can do and what I have control of. I check the weather, I read a few headlines, and then I try to do things with my daughter and my family and have fun. And that, I think, is better for me than trying to make sure I get all of the Sabbats figured out exactly, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to have this happen and that happen. I'm not a firm ritualist, so I don't have that need to make sure that the rituals go a certain way. I like having them go correctly, but I don't have to have them follow a certain pattern. As a result, I'm generally less stressed when it comes to doing rituals. But that's just me and the way I do things. And so, roll with it a little bit. When you have family over and you guys are doing stuff, don't get so set on making sure that your family has such and such positive experience or good experience that you forget to have the fun of the experience. So, my gingerbread house, does it look like a drunk sailor? Yes. Yes, it does. It's got a little bit of a sway back to it. But then it's made of candy, so okay, so what? But it was fun, and instead of trying to make it look exactly a certain way and being a perfectionist about it, my goal, 100%, was to just have fun. And, excuse me, and I think I did it. And I asked my daughter as she was getting ready to go to sleep if she had a good time tonight or today, and she said yes. And you know what? That makes it worth it. That she had a good time doing the things that we were doing. Did I get to listen to some different things about Minecraft? Yes. Did I have to look at her Minecraft house that she built? Yes. Does it make any sense to me at all? Nope. But it's important to her, so I do listen. We try to offset it with some other things, like, if you're going to do that much Minecraft, you have to read a book. So, that interaction. Be thankful for that interaction. I have some friends that cannot interact with their grandkids because they live too far away, and COVID has kind of been biting everybody in the butt. So, just breathe. It's the holiday season. It's going to be stressful enough as it is because it's the holiday season. Don't add more stress by insisting that you have a certain plan and everything's going to go exactly according to plan, or everybody's going to have a certain experience or else. It's those or else's that are going to hang you up every single time. And, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking the gratitude jar is the way to go. And we'll be putting one together tomorrow also, Minnie, me, and I. That way we can talk about the things that we're grateful for in the coming year. I know there's some things she wants. Holy cow, is that kid a consumer sometimes. But there's also, some other things, some intangible things that she wants to do. And if we are tracking them on, a little bit better, it'll be easier to get those accomplished. So, anyways, yes, gratitude jars. I think they're important. Pinterest has a lot of ideas if you're looking for one on how to set it up or what to make it look like. We'll probably craft something. I've got a nice big jar to put it in, so we'll probably do Mod Podge or, I don't know, glue something on it or paint it or, we'll have fun with it. I mean, why not? It's supposed to celebrate the things that make us happy throughout the year. So, to do that, we need to have things on it that signify celebration. I mean, that's all there is to it. If you need ideas, let me know. I can come up with some and I can share. But the best ones are going to come from within, from the heart. The things that you're going to do, the things that are specific to your family, the things your family is into. If you live someplace cold enough that there's snow, there may be a dog sledding team. If you've never had the opportunity to go dog sledding, you should try it once. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There is not a freer feeling in all the world than being on a dog sled. And dogs just running because they're mad to run. And, wow, it's such a rush. If my boxer could wear a sweater, she would be so ideal. She loves to run. But it's an opportunity to enjoy that feeling with the dogs or with the animals. Ski joring is another one. It's not really my thing just because gravity sucks, but some people are into it. Go for a sleigh ride as a family. I know we have someone local, they do sleigh rides. They'll be more like a hay ride until it snows a little bit more, but then they're higher elevations, so for all I know, they have snow already. Do the bonfire and the hot cocoa or whatever it is that you guys do to celebrate. Embrace it. Embrace the family aspect, not the commercial aspect. Embrace the things you are thankful for yourself and your family, rather than the stuff that the U.S. generally emphasizes here, which is a lot of commercialism and things that are not as worthy to celebrate. And also, write it down. Journal what you do. Journal your ideas. A friend of mine's got a journal going. She wants to do some crafts, so she's got a journal going on everything that she wants to do, all the tools she needs to make sure she gets it done, all the supplies to get everything taken care of, and boxes to package and ship and wrap and the whole 9 yards. And are lists annoying? Sometimes, yes. Especially when you forget them at home and you're at the grocery store. That's why I take a picture of my grocery list before I do anything with it. Make the list, take the picture, and then in case I forget it, I have it still. Sometimes I message it to, if I'm going to the grocery store with someone else, I message it to them. Otherwise I'll forget. It's like, hey, did I tell you what I needed today? And they're like, yes, you sent me this picture. I'm like, yes, I did the thing. So, little goals. And as we're looking forward to 2022, there's going to be a lot of rounding out round up the years. The top 10 moments of this for the year. Try not to get too wrapped up into the negativity of them, because sadly they're going to be out there and they're going to be crazy and they're going to drive you nuts. Sometimes very nuts. And just let it roll off. Don't dwell on it. Don't be the keyboard warrior when you see that stuff, because you're gonna. Unfortunately, it's out there. Just celebrate the holiday season. Celebrate your family. If you have estranged family, which I do, it's harder, and I get it. Yeah, as a pagan, I get it. For a lot of us that have come out of the pagan pantry or the broom closet, there's just some parts of us that we don't share with family because we're just not going to be welcome anymore. Maybe it's time to sit down and reflect on that. Is it time to tell your family that you're not going to midnight mass because it's not your thing anymore? Now, for me, I'd go anyways because I love the music. I just do. I love Christmas music. But maybe you don't like the lyrics anymore. Well, maybe it's time to rewrite the lyrics. I mean, why not? As long as we're writing and trying to figure things out. If you know the tune, put new lyrics to it. How do you think Grandma got ran over by a reindeer? That was somebody probably had a little too much beer, sitting around a campfire with some buddies. And it worked. Because, yeah, I've heard that every year for like 40 of them. So we are at the top of the hour. That's going to be it for tonight. Remember, give thanks. Show your gratitude. Be thankful for what you have. Write them down in a jar every day. And on a piece of paper, stick in a jar. And next Thanksgiving, pull out the jar and see what you have. See what you were thankful for. Sometimes it's going to be the little things. Sometimes they'll be huge. If you get the opportunity to say, hey, I won the lottery, write it down. See you next week. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. We'll see you next week or tomorrow.